You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
Welcome to the Hot Options Report, your premier source for insight into the fast-moving options market. Each day, we'll track down the products that are dominating the options chains and impacting your trading account, from NVIDIA to VIX and everything in between. If it's lighting up the options tape, then you'll find it on the Hot Options Report.
All right, everybody, that music means we are back. Time to wrap up your trading day here for Tuesday, October 28th, with another edition of the Hot Options Report. My name, of course, Mark Longo from theoptionsinsider.com, as well as from the network upon which all of you folks are binging your money at the top of the show here. Make sure you're subscribed to the full network wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And, of course, make sure you're checking out the pro, theoptionsinsider.com/pro. Awesome stuff, like a great Q&A session. We just got off a few minutes ago. All sorts of wild stuff going on over there. Clock ticking. End of the month coming soon. Get your name in the hat to win the Pro Trading Crate as we find out what was lighting up the tape out there. And yet another mostly green day on the screen, including for vol. Don't see that too often. S&P and VIX cash moving in lockstep, but we saw it today. VIX closing today, listeners, right around 1641, 1642, up about 63 cents on the day, so up about 60 odd cents on the day. So interesting, VIX getting a little bit spicier despite the fact that we're seeing most of the major indices out there in rally ho mode yet again. Putting up 701,000 contracts in VIX today, so not exactly a banger day. The ADV is about 882,000, so kind of light, actually. And the hot option out there, 75,000. This is a good one. Feb 50s. We've been talking 47 halves in a variety of months for a while, including February and April and November. Now, apparently, it's the 50s. If you're wondering, what is a 50 call? Going all the way out to February in VIX cost. Right now, it's 78 cents. So there you go, listeners. You like those? Are you sold to you? As we keep on rolling out to SPY. SPY, like we said, popping a little bit out there today. SPY closing 687.06 out there, listeners. The hot option out there in SPY land today on the day when most of the major indices were up. It looks like gave back some of their gains in the second half of the session. We did have S&P and most of the major indices up about 0.5%. They ended up closing up about 0.25%, and that's where SPY ended up. 687.06 is where it went out, up again about 0.25%, putting up a little over 9, about 9.2 million contracts. The ADV is 9.5 million, so within spitting distance out there. And the hot option in SPY land, 658,000 of the 687 calls. Average price for these, 57 cents. So you like these, listeners? They went out within spitting distance. Kind of had a bit of a whirlwind if you bought these today, but interesting stuff out there as we keep on rolling out to the S. Same deal, up about 0.25%, putting up 4.6 million contracts. So actually kind of spicy. The ADV is right around 4.4 million. So exceeding expectations, if ever so slightly. The hot option on a hot day in the SPX, again, everyone's fixated on those new upside strikes. In this case, it's 6,900, 228,000 of these bad boys changing hands today. Average price for these, $3.12, listeners. So wild stuff. Of course, the cash did get north of that ever so slightly today. So if you rode these through the close, maybe not the best do, but you had opportunities intraday to get out of them for better levels. As we keep on rolling out to small caps, pretty spicy day out there as well. Small caps giving up about 0.5% out there today. So as they like to do, bucking the trend a little bit, putting up about 1.7 million. That's against an ADV of about 1.6 million. So actually exceeding expectations ever so slightly out there today. The hot option on a pretty hot day in small caps, 137,000 of the 250s expiring today. Small caps going out 248.96. Average price for these 35 cents. So on the plus side, if you bought them and rode them through the close, you didn't lose much, but not exactly a great trade if you rode them into the closing bell. Out to the Qs we go. A hot day, a spicy day in the Qs, listeners. Again, NASDAQ rallying a little over 0.75%, about 0.8% out there. The Qs closing 632.92, putting up nearly 5.5 million contracts. That's a spicy day. The ADV is 4.8 million, so exceeding expectations out there. The hot option just a tick below 300,000, 299,000. Of the 630 puts, again, expiring today. We did flirt with that level, got below it ever so briefly, which might explain this price of about 78 cents. Again, if you bought these and rode them through the close, maybe not the best, dude. Could be some signs that some folks were selling these, in which case maybe they were gritting their teeth through the end of the day. If they sold them, you're looking pretty good. Were single name equity options looking good today, listeners? The answer was they were decent. 628,000 contracts is what it cost you to break into the top 10 today. That gets us to our old pal AMD, closing 258.01 today, listeners. Giving up about 0.2%, about 1 3/4 out there. So a little bit of a red day in AMD. It is possible, especially when your main rival makes yet another big deal. We'll come to that in a little bit. The hot option in AMD today wasn't puts, though. It was 37,000 of the 265 calls. That's a wild strike. We got up to 264.58 at one point today, so that might make this $5.68 average price a little bit more palatable. Right now, it looks like a dumpster fire sold to you on these, listeners, but obviously we have the benefit of hindsight. If you're riding these, you got till the end of the week, but the clock is definitely ticking. Can AMD get back to that 265 strike and then another $5 past that to pay off these calls? Someone I think is hoping so, listeners. As we keep on rolling to number 9, it's the Amazonians, closing today 229.25, popping up exactly 1%, or about 2.25. So a good day for the Amazonians, putting up 647,000 contracts for the number 9 spot. The hot option, 21,000 of the Nove 250s, Nove 2.5. So Amazon going out to Nove expiration, kind of bucking the trend out here, which is interesting. Average price for these, $3.45. So that is a fair way to go, listeners. We're talking $21.75 out of the money. Average price $3.45. Obviously going to get some earnings between now and then. Is that enough to run the stock a nearly 10%? Guess we shall find out. As we keep on rolling to number 8, it's PayPal. Popping off post earnings. You know it's earnings season when PayPal's on our top 10. Closing today, $73, pretty much exactly, up about 2 3/4 or nearly 4%, putting up 734,000 contracts. The hot option out here, 69,000 of the 80s expiring this week. We got to 79.25 before the rally faded, listeners. Looks like it faded pretty hard. Faded $6 from the high. So I'm guessing those 80s were looking a lot better, a little bit more enticing this morning than they are right now. 84 cents for these. Most people with hindsight would probably say sold to you, but we'll see. Can PayPal keep the rally alive? Can it get back to the 80 handle by the end of the week? Looks like somebody might be hoping so as we keep on rolling out to number 7, Nokia. Popping hard today, closing right around 7 3/4, rallying nearly $1.50 or almost 25%. Hot day out there. What happened? Well, NVIDIA. Everyone's been sprinkling the AI pixie dust. Everyone's been partnering with OpenAI, and NVIDIA has been investing in a bunch of names. Add Nokia to that list as well. Nokia, about a $1 billion investment, I do believe, from the other end, a.k.a. NVIDIA out there. Enough to pop the stock. You talk AI and investments from the big dog, yeah, it's going to pop the stock. 7 3/4. 930,000 contracts is how much it put up today. The hot option in Nokia today, as the Finns say, 110,000 of the 8s expiring this week. If you had told me we were trading Nokia calendars in our Options Oddities Pro show not too long ago, they were on the 4 handle. If you had told me the 8s were in play, I would have laughed at you quite a bit, but obviously a very different regime today. than it was even just a week or two ago out there. The high today was 8.19, so they did get there, which maybe makes this average price of about 54 cents for the 8s seem more palatable. Hey, more power to you if you like them out here. Lately, the move has been to fade these spikes, but we shall see out here, listeners. 54 cents. You like those? Or are you saying sold to you? As we keep on rolling out to Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat getting a little bit of a resurgence today, rallying about 17 cents or about 9%, closing just a tick below $2, putting up 956,000 contracts for the number 6 spot out there today. The hot option and beyond. Actually, not the 2 calls as you would expect. It was 137,000 of the 2 halves expiring this week. Average price for these, 19 cents. So I guess if you want a little bit of a cheaper bite at the apple, perhaps these are your Huckleberry. The stock did get as high as 236, so these were looking decent earlier today. 19 cents for a nibble. Listeners, pretty much 10% of the value of the stock. You like that? For a nibble for the rest of the week. Interesting stuff. As we keep on going to number 5, this is everyone's favorite, at least if you listened to the show yesterday, listeners, because it was a newcomer. Never talked about it before. This is Strive Inc. Ticker symbol AST, ASST. This is another one of these Bitcoin treasury names. Rallying hard yesterday. Seems like maybe the pump was in and now the dump. Selling off to about $1.45 or about 20 cents out there today. Selling off 11, almost 12%. Got as low as about $1.25 intraday. So didn't close at its lows. I suppose that could give you some solace if you're a bull out here. 1.08 million contracts changing hands out there. The hot option, 108,000 of the 1/2. Average price for these, 14 cents. So if you're a believer, and the stock did get up to 159, so there were 9 cents on the money. If you're a believer, then 14 cents. A cheap do, as the kids say. Once again, 10% of the value of the underlying for just a few days. So it's up to you whether you think that's worth it. As we keep on rolling out to Intel, they are worth a little bit more today. 41.5 is pretty much where it closed. Up about $2 or 5%. So a good day for Intel out there, listeners. Putting up 1.2 million contracts out there in Intel, listeners. The hot option in good old INTC today. 89,000 of the No 45s. Once again, going out to November. Average price for these, $1.66. Again, this stock was just $20 about a month ago, so it's been on a wild tear. Can it keep it going? $45 by no expiration. Someone might be saying that. There is OI here, so this could be closing, in which case someone could be deciding, you know what, I'll take my $1.66 and get the heck out of Dodge. Which way would you go on these, listeners? As we keep on rolling to number 3, it's SoFi. They did pop off today after earnings. 1.42 million contracts. The stock rallying about $1 2/3 or about 5.5%, closing right around 31 2/3. And the hot option out there today, 83,000 of the 30s expiring this week. Average price for these, $1.20. So don't need me to tell you these are looking good right now. Can we keep the momentum up? SoFi's had a nice week out here. So can we keep the momentum up out here, listeners? We shall see as we keep on rolling to number 2. It's Tesla. So I guess all is right with the world. Tesla back at number 2. Closing today, $460.5, up a little over $8 or a little bit shy of 2%, putting up 2.07 million contracts. So about an 8-handle move, a little over 2 million contracts. Sounds like a normal day for Tesla. The hot option out there today, 90,000 of the 460s. Once again, the 460 strike, capturing some imagination. And they're not giving it away, listeners, $11. So if you're down for some covered calls, $11 throughout the rest of the week here for Tesla. If you sold these, then again, it is a $460 stock. So a pretty capital intensive covered call, listeners. The range today, 451.60 to the downside, 467 to the upside. So these calls had a wild journey. That 467 level probably explains that 11 handle on that price. But wild stuff. Speaking of wild stuff, NVIDIA lighting up the tape today. New all-time high. Closing today a little bit north of 201. 201.03, up nearly $10. $9.5, about almost 5%. Putting up 5.25 million contracts. What could possibly propel NVIDIA to such lofty new heights? Well, I just mentioned it. It's its deal with Nokia. Now, usually the company that's shelling out the money takes a bit of a hit, but not in the magical world of AI, where if you spend money or really do anything involving AI, the stock takes a pop. So if that's the case, apparently the market is pricing in all of the potential future gains of this investment with Nokia right now today. They don't want to wait. So I'll leave it up to you if that's a sign of a speculative bubble or not. But wild stuff out there in Nokia options today. And that's going to do it for your hot options report for Tuesday, October 28th. Can some of these hot names we're talking about, can they possibly keep up this momentum throughout the rest of this week? Or will they sputter out and die? You got to stay tuned to the hot options report every day this week, listeners, to find out the answer to that question. See you back here tomorrow for our usual array of content, including the ever-popular Options Bootcamp. If you're new to these options things, you should be checking out that show, as well as, of course, the Futures Rundown for you Futures hardcores. And then we're back again after the closing bell to see how all these trades we're watching are playing out for another episode of the Hot Options Report. Stay safe out there, everybody.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.